We are joined today on our first podcast ever by the amazing KJ Drizz. Today we'll be getting to know KJ a bit better, talking about streaming, life, and things like that.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. There's a lot of different paths people take to decide they want to become a streamer. So I'm just curious, what was your path to streaming?
Yes. So I feel like people who know my channel are probably really tired of hearing this story, but I got my dream job here in Las Vegas as a food scientist. I loved it. I was super happy. It was my second degree. I went back to school as an adult, and COVID hit Vegas especially really hard. 3 months after I got my dream job, I got furloughed and eventually laid off. Here I was in Las Vegas with nobody that I knew and nothing to really do, no way to get out, no outlet. And I was already playing video games. So I thought, hey, I'm going to stream and start streaming. And I had always been playing Elder Scrolls. And I honestly decided to stream because I wanted to meet people and talk to people.
An amazing part about the streaming experience is really getting to meet and getting to know people. Even in an MMO like Elder Scrolls, it can sometimes be hard to meet new people and bond with them. You mentioned that you got your dream job, but unfortunately, due to the global pandemic, you lost that job. I'm just curious, you want to talk a little bit about what that dream job, that outside of Twitch job, what it is you were doing before COVID?
Yeah, of course.
Streaming.
So my degree is in food science, but I was an internal food auditor for Caesars Entertainment in Las Vegas. So basically, I just made sure that your food was safe to eat. I wanted to make sure that everybody got grade A health ratings. Every casino, every kitchen, every restaurant, I was responsible for all of that. So I was super active. I was walking like 11 miles a day. And I'm kind of, I love rules. So I basically got to make corrections and validations and verifications every single day. And a big passion of mine is just making sure that your food is safe to eat. It's something we don't think about. We're so lucky in this country that we don't have to, open up a bag of chips and wonder if we're gonna, get E. coli. So we're really privileged, honestly.
Being a food scientist and the work you do, and then your streaming is really kind of related around Elder Scrolls and other games. But even with there not seeming to be much of a correlation between your education or work experience, is there any of that you brought to streaming, to your style, or anything like that?
I'd say probably my biggest thing is my work ethic. I think, when I started streaming, that I said, I'm playing video games, I might as well stream anyway. And I started streaming and realized that's not the case at all. If you're not preparing for your stream, if you're not doing things to improve your stream, if you're not working hard, then, you're not going to get out of it what you put in. So I've always loved to work. I'm pretty obsessive, and that's something I think people don't see. And I love to work hard. I love to improve. I want to better myself. And I kind of brought that work ethic to the stream. And I would say that's probably the biggest correlation, but it's also something I'm really passionate about. I mean, I genuinely love my community and everybody in my stream. And I'm just super passionate about that and about them and anybody who takes time out of their day to spend it with me.
And you did touch on a lot of different really great points. So I'm going to kind of go back through a few of them because I think they're really kind of important things. And when you're talking about work ethic and not knowing how much is involved in streaming, that kind of mindset a lot of people have getting into streaming. Oh, I'm playing games, I might as well stream them. Turns out to be a lot more. What are some of the things that really initially surprised you, that you didn't expect getting into streaming?
Equipment is the biggest thing. I don't think people realize or understand, especially, I was unemployed and I got my first unemployment check after 15 weeks and I spent it on a new PC. You don't think about the financial side of things as being a challenge And that's something I learned very quickly. I wanted a computer, then I needed 2 monitors, then I wanted a new camera, I wanted new lights. I think that the aesthetics of a stream are something so underrated. You can, people do a green screen, some people do a background. It's never going to be perfect, but I think it's extremely important. You're not going to watch a stream where the picture is fuzzy all the time. So that was something that really surprised me, is the financial aspect of streaming itself is pretty incredible and just something you really don't think about. So that was a big one for me.
The thing that caught me off guard, though, is all of the technical aspects of like OBS or Twitch broadcast or whatever broadcasting platform you happen to use. In addition to the equipment, did you find yourself struggling a bit with that? Or like, how did you get used to like maintaining chat, handling OBS, your scenes and things like that?
Oh, I had help, and I still have help. If you want to talk about streaming as a whole, if you want to talk about Discord, Twitch, OBS, working on your overlays, I for sure have help. I for sure have to ask people, for assistance. I am not an expert at that. I for sure don't pretend to be. I need help. And it's a consistent challenge for me, since that side, that trial and error side of trying to get things working is very overwhelming for me. It's extremely overwhelming for me. So that's why I ask for help, because I just can't do it all myself.
I love that you said help, because I found while I've been streaming, I also had asked for a lot of help, or found a lot of help on the internet. Just as a quick shout out, Harris Heller Alpha Gaming is a network you can find on YouTube that has just a tremendous amount of information. There's a lot of other sites like that, but also just help from people. And I think I've met a lot of people that I've been able to help, but a lot of people don't always think to ask for help. So the reason I love that you called that out is I think anybody who's listening to this, who's interested in streaming or already streaming, don't be afraid to ask for help. Anybody, no matter how big, how small, where they are in their streaming path, has had to ask for help. Did you have any goals, or did you set any goals early on for what you wanted to accomplish, maybe in your first year or first months, or did you have any goals going in, or just kind of go in and kind of go with the flow?
So I didn't have any goals. I didn't really think about it too much. I talked to people a lot of the times about things that I wish I had done, things I wish I knew about before I started streaming. Because you start streaming, I started streaming with this intention of, hey, maybe I'll meet people to talk to and I won't feel so alone and we can bond over a game. I don't think I thought about, I'm going to one day get more than 3 people watching me. It took me a month and a half to average over 3 viewers. And I never thought, that I would even have any more than that. And looking back, at how I started this journey, there are a lot of things I would have done different. There are a lot of things that I would have thought of differently. I think now, of course, I have goals. Like I would love to grow as a community, but there has to be a safe zone and a safe space for that. I would rather have, everybody in my community respectful and together and whole, and have, 20 people every day rather than 200 where there's some toxicity in the community and, a lot of negativity. So I do want to see myself grow. I think every streamer who puts effort into it does, but there's kind of that cap on that where you just want to have a safe space. You want to have a comfortable space. You want to have a space where everybody feels welcome. And, I also love that personal aspect. It's kind of weird, but I want to know about everybody in my community. I know we are the public face, but again, I genuinely care about every single person that I chat with.
So you'd say your goal right now basically is continuing to foster the community that you have and the community that you want to see it become, kind of making sure you're fostering out the toxicity and really kind of like enhancing the elements that really kind of make your community your community.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. And this is a candid conversation. Again, it's not, I don't talk about this stuff a lot, but recently there have been a lot of changes in my stream. I banned about 10 people within my community that I just felt like no matter how many times I talked to them about negative comments or saying things that I felt were inappropriate, and they continued. And I finally, you stop looking at, hey, I have like 50 viewers, and you start saying, hey, these people are causing a problem for me. They're making people uncomfortable. Yeah, maybe they've been with me for a while, but this has to change, So there's like that very fine line, and you have to protect your community. You have to, like, for me, that's the most important thing. So I've had to make a lot of changes recently. I know that I have pushed a lot of people who've watched me for a while away, but those people were just bringing a lot of negativity, to my stream.
I see there's a lot of stream advice out there. You can find a lot of amazing advice, but a lot doesn't get mentioned about how you shape your community. And sometimes on my end, like, you can start getting too worried about like your numbers, or worrying if like I start getting rid of this, is it going to like stop growing? Am I going to plateau? So for like me, I had people that got caught in kind of scamming some of the giveaways. And while at the end of the day, it's not a major thing on my end, I am still giving the thing away. That was creating toxicity in my community. And you had other things that were causing that toxicity in your community. So I think that's really good advice for streamers and people to think about, is a person doesn't have to necessarily, though, do anything wrong, or they don't have to do anything that's like breaks a specific rule for you to be able to get rid of them. You can, if they're creating a negative vibe, a negative impact, remove them, because that fosters people that you want, the people that like aren't toxic, to want to come view the streams, as opposed to them getting kind of pushed away in favor of the toxic ones. At least that's my opinion on it.
Absolutely. And I think, there is that, you see your numbers go down, but at the same time, like when you realize, okay, this made such a positive impact on my community, this took such a relief off of me. Who cares about the numbers? You will grow, you will get growth. I've been in so many streamers communities that have grown, but then you see toxic comments and people, and then you're like, I don't want to go in there anymore. I did not ever want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. And sometimes, that's the sacrifice you make, but it's something that has really mentally helped my health moving forward.
My metaphor I always used for it, and we used in my Discord for it, is if you want your garden to grow and to flourish, you do occasionally have to weed. If you don't weed, then the weeds are going to overtake the garden. Or if you're, another one that someone in my chat used was a bonsai tree. Like, to get the like full beauty out of the bonsai tree as it grows, you do have to like snip some branches. So making sure you're snipping the things that are going to be like pollutants to the community to make the community better, I think is a better choice. And in the long term, the growth you have will be much better for it. Do you have like a threshold for yourself for, acceptable levels of trolling versus like, this is too toxic?
Yeah. So there's a really fine line. And to me, it's a lot about the relationship you have with that person. So that's kind of, I'd say that's kind of my big thing, is like, there are people who come in my chat and they do troll. But a lot of the times I'll have conversations with them offline. I don't, there is no drama on my stream. There will not be drama. We talk about that afterwards. We take that off stream. And if there was trolling that just went on way too long or way too hard, I say, hey, sorry, this has to stop. This can't continue. Also, I think, we all have certain personalities and certain people who come into our stream, and you kind of know and expect that. I have people who know my personality and who can push me in a certain way in my gameplay, where other people may not see that as a positive thing. But I know their intentions. I talk to them outside of stream, and I know that they're trying to push me in the right direction. So there is that really fine line, but I'm also about communication with the people in your channel.
Yeah, I think communication is, I agree. 100% the most important thing. I've tried to be transparent on and off stream about that. And I think, yeah, if you communicate it and people know, oh, you're pushing the limit a little too far and they back off, then it's great. I think the other thing you touched on that's really important is people who are new to the channel. So as somebody with ADHD, I've done a lot of time in my life where I monitor situations before I will engage. And so when you see a certain behavior, you're like, oh, that's okay. Or, oh, that's how you engage with this person. So I think it's also very important to communicate, like you said, with the people that are pushing it maybe a little too far, or get rid of the people who, aren't willing to back off is important, because yeah, you might have new people come in, people who are lurking, and when they decide to engage, they don't even realize that they're engaging in a negative way, because what they've seen and what's been allowed indicates to them that oh, that's how I engage with this streamer.
Yes, and I think that's part of what I love about Twitch is there are so many people, different streamers and different and unique personalities. I love that you kind of can create that environment, because I know, especially for me, when I talk about getting hard on my channel, if you come into me talking about that, a lot of people are like, whoa, what is going on? Or, I'm joking around with someone, or, someone in my channel is telling me what I'm doing is not right in the game. If you come into that might seem a little intense. That might seem a little awkward. That might be a little confusing, to my friends who don't play Elder Scrolls and don't understand. So I think it's really interesting. And I think that I'm okay if people don't understand my sense of humor, then I'm okay with them not following. I'm okay with that. I never want someone to feel like I'm putting someone down, or, there's no being disrespectful. Like, that's not accepted in my channel. But if someone doesn't get my sense of humor, if someone doesn't, appreciate my channel, I'm totally fine with that, because I am not the streamer for everybody. And people are going to come in and watch and lurk at really bad times. That's just what happens.
I use a lot of metaphors when I talk about things, but one of the things I like to say is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And what I think is really cool about streaming and about the platform is there's so many people streaming in any game or topic that you can check out somebody, and if they're not your cup of tea, maybe I'm not your cup of tea, maybe you're not somebody's cup of tea, but they can easily still find somebody. I think that's really cool.
That's what I love about Twitch. You can find everything and anything you want, whatever you're into. And, a lot of people have said, or when they start to go into streaming, or they say, I'm afraid to stream because there's so many people who stream, the market is so saturated. And I say, no, that's what's great. That's what's so great about Twitch, because you can find everything and anything that you want. On my stream, I have people come in and say, hey, I don't want to get yelled at. Okay, then, well, this probably isn't the channel for you, because you're going to get yelled at, but they can go somewhere else and find someone like chill and relax. Or obviously you, again, super high energy. You're always doing something crazy, inventive, new, you can find anything on Twitch. And I love individuality, and I love different personalities. And I think that's what makes Twitch such an amazing place.
I agree completely. And just, I want to give a couple shout outs, because talking about cups of tea, and like, we're both high energy in different ways, but if you want somebody who's like super knowledgeable, very chill, pleasing to listen to, you have people out there like the Camp Robert. Both of us have rated Camp's rated us, which is kind of part of the like more extended community of streamers. And so I think it's also great to know that just because one streamer is like high energy doesn't mean the only part of the extended community is going to be only that kind of type of streamer.
Oh yeah. And I love promoting each other. Like, I love promoting you. I love promoting Camp, but I'm not going to talk about people that I genuinely don't have an interest in. I genuinely watch you, and, probably one of my first times really watching your stream was when you did that 24-hour stream. I love how you push yourself, physically, mentally. I don't know how your stomach was after you ate all that stuff the other day. I just love that this is you, this is your channel, this is what you do, and I love you for that. And then I go to Camp, who's like quiet and reserved and, just totally sees the game from a different aspect. And I love just, like, we're a community. We're all in this together. And I just love the fact that we can support each other and promote each other rather than, what you can see happening in other places, I guess.
And I think that comes with something that is a kind of a common thread is being, and we mentioned it earlier, being a community-driven streamer. And I think that's what kind of draws us all towards each other. And I'm the same as you. Like, I definitely promote a bunch of people. I'm really big on promoting other streamers, but there are always streamers that I've watched and I'm genuinely like, it's my channel. People are watching me. I want to make sure if I'm giving a recommendation, it's an honest one. Like, I don't want to send people just willy-nilly to somebody. So
yeah, of course.
Kind of the last thing as far as like getting into streaming I wanted to talk about is some streamers don't have any kind of inspiration going in. They just want to stream. Some people have inspiration that aren't necessarily other streamers. Maybe it's like other media, comedians, TV. Some people have inspiration that's other streamers. Is there any like people that are the big inspiration, or do you kind of just draw inspiration from yourself?
My big one, and I talk about this a little bit. Obviously not a ton for various reasons, but it's Dr. Disrespect. I'm a huge Doc fan. And for people who don't know him, he kind of, created a character. He created a character. He has this like unique, crazy branding, high energy, a little offensive, not for everybody type streamer. What I love about him, and this is probably my favorite thing, is he is unapologetically himself. And not only that, but he curated this community that understands him and his sense of humor. So no matter if you like him or not, because I know he's not liked by a lot of people, I have so much respect for how much effort he's put into his streaming from every aspect possible, because there's a lot of streamers who get 60K viewers who don't put any aesthetics into their stream. So I appreciate that about him. And if you go and watch his stream, you see how many people get him. People understand his really unique sense of humor. And like we kind of were talking about earlier, if you come into a community at a weird time where someone's trolling and that's going on, but that's okay with you, it might push some people away or bring in other toxicity. He has curated this community where people get him and people get that sense of humor. And thinking about how you want your community to be, I can't imagine how much thought and time that had to take to kind of do all that. So I really appreciate all of the work that he has put into that. And I really think super highly of him from that aspect. And I would say he's probably my big one, because I don't see myself as the best gamer in the world. I'm never going to be the best Elder Scrolls player. I see myself kind of as an entertainer just because I like to have fun, but I want to, have a community that understands me and my sense of humor and feels like it's a safe space. And I think right now I'm kind of going through that transition period where I'm trying to find that. And I really, when I want to get hyped up before a stream, I watch him. And I watch everything about him, from his mannerisms to what he's doing before his stream, what he's doing at the end of his stream, in order to kind of, pump myself up and say, hey, like, these are areas that I really can improve on. And I really love that about him.
The other thing I think is really important you commented on that I really like, it's not just pressing the go live button when it comes to being a streamer. Like, it's coming up with, what am I going to do on my next stream? Maybe it's making content for other platforms, which we'll get into a little bit later. But it is also, I think there's a lot of time if you want to grow as a streamer. Personally, it's not just self-reflection. It's like you said, it's watching those streamers that are an inspiration, seeing what they do, what works, what doesn't work, finding those things that I'm not going to be exactly like, you're not Doc, but you're able to find those things about Doc that you really identify with, that you enjoy, and put that twist on it to make them KJ and bring it to your stream. And I think that's something other streamers sometimes when they're starting out don't think about, is how having inspirations like that and studying other streamers can actually be a huge asset.
Very, very underrated. And I think, I love to watch streamers. I had been watching streamers on Twitch for years before I started streaming, but I think you can learn a lot from every single other streamer. And again, another thing I love about Twitch, the individuality, but there's so much you can learn from everybody. I don't care if you think it's a good or a bad streamer or whatever your opinion may be, there is something you can learn either about improving or what you want to do or what you don't want to do. And I think it's kind of important to study all of that. I do.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, I also, when I'm watching other streamers, when I am watching other people in the community, like we mentioned earlier, people in ESO or other things, even starting streamers, I also watch with that kind of critical eye to see, oh, is there something here that I can resonate with, or either maybe offer help, and not just always offer help. Sometimes I see something that they're doing, I'm like, that's really cool. Oh, that gives me an idea of something I can do. So is that the same for you, where you get inspiration also from maybe smaller streamers or streamers who you're just checking out for the first time, who might not be like Doc or Ludwig, where they're like top of the streaming game?
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny that you talk about this, because I look to you in camp a lot. And this has kind of, been since I met you. What I love about you, and it's something that I just don't know if I'm capable of, but again, I love how you push yourself. I have seen many streamers attempt 24-hour plus streams. You're the only successful one I've seen. I love seeing how you push those physical boundaries, which is not that easy. It's not that easy. And so I see you do that. I see you do your food challenges, which I love. And I've thought about, like, how can I incorporate this? And I really see a lot of things that you do in that I'm like, man, I want to find a way to kind of like incorporate some of that, in my stream. And then kind of from the gaming side, I am not a relaxing streamer, right? I'm never going to be relaxing. That's not me. But I see how knowledgeable Camp is as a streamer. And not only that, but how he's a leader in his stream. He's a leader and he wants to teach people and he wants to help people. And I want to get to that point. I'm not there. I have no idea what I'm doing in this game. But I want to get to that point because I see so many people from just a gaming standpoint look up to him and ask him questions. So I want to be like that. So that's coming from almost like, I guess if you want to say a business side, from a business side. But as far as like a streaming personal side, I love all of the stuff you do to make everybody included. And that's something that I've been trying to incorporate. Like when I started doing marbles, I'm just not sure if that worked for me. But I love those things that you do for your community and to get everybody involved. And I'm constantly trying to think and brainstorm ways like, how can I incorporate that into my stream?
How is your approach to like figuring out how to basically, I guess for lack of a better word, how to curate your content, like what you're going to get rid of, what you're going to keep?
So I started out streaming Elder Scrolls and I tried to transition a little bit to Cold War. I love playing first-person shooters, especially Call of Duty. I saw the negative impact that had on my community. I immediately stopped that. That's something that I decided, that's going to be off stream. I started marbles for a little bit, and I actually loved marbles, but then I cut back my stream time since I, started working again. Now I'm back to just Elder Scrolls. So I've kind of been rolling with the punches. But I have this new kind of motto, and it's almost not from a streaming standpoint, but it's from a gaming standpoint. And every day I want to do something that's uncomfortable for me. And a lot of the times right now, that has to do with what I'm doing in the game. I want to do something that I'm not great at, that I'm uncomfortable with doing. Maybe that's a little too difficult for me to do. I want to push those boundaries every day with myself. And I'm almost, at this point, it's almost personal growth for me. And with this difficult content comes difficult comments in my stream. And I think I'm learning to handle that and learning to grow with that. And that's something that I've really enjoyed doing, especially recently. So it's almost been, my motto is every day do something that makes you uncomfortable, and really, really go for it. Go for it unapologetically, and roll with the punches, see how it goes, and be proud of yourself no matter what.
Yeah, that's a really great approach too, is just kind of jumping in and trying something, doing something that's a bit scary. And yeah, I think that's streaming in a nutshell. It's like, it's always going to be scary when you push that go live button. And when you start to feel comfortable, that's when you should do. Like for me, it's finding those little steps and figure out how to push those. For you, it's like finding something like new and different to do that's scary. Because I feel like when you as a streamer get to the point where you're not a little bit scared, a little bit apprehensive when you hit the go live button, that might be when you're at a place where you're kind of plateauing and you're going into like a consistent mode, which again, there's nothing wrong. If you're like at a level you like, you want to be consistent. But I think growth really is connected to like it always being a little bit scary, or maybe even like a lot scary. Like I know going live today, even without the tech issues, I was like, oh, I haven't done a podcast in a long time. I haven't done a podcast since the channel's grown. Like, so I was a little scared hitting the go live button. And I think that fear really does push me though. It sounds like it pushes you as well.
The fear for sure is a driving factor for me. I try and do one thing to improve my stream every day, and it doesn't always go good. But whether it be changing the words on my sign, to changing around something I have in my background, or doing something in my Discord or something on the back end of Twitch, I try and make one small improvement every single day, because if you're not trying to push forward, I think you can get stagnant. And that's something I try and, really hold myself to. Is it easy? No, but I for sure try and, do something like that every single day. I feel like, people think you just get on camera and it's fine and it's easy. There is nerves, there is expectation. And I think a lot of that's self-imposed. And I know you do that to yourself as well. But I feel like that's almost every single day, every single stream. That's someone who wants to grow their community. That's someone who cares. But yeah, that's a real thing.
I think that's something you said there that really just resonated with me. I think, again, that apprehension or that fear actually comes from a place of like wanting to do well for your community. It's not like, yeah, I'm a bit fearful of doing this or that, but it's more like, I want to make sure what I'm bringing to my community is something that is going to be for their enjoyment. I want to kind of switch just gears a little bit to basically style, because you mentioned it quite a few times throughout some of our other questions, which is like working on the aesthetics of the stream or overlays, and like calling back to like your inspiration from Dr. Disrespect, wanting to make sure like what you're bringing visually to the table, but like, and also talk about, being a bit loud as a streamer. How would you describe your style? Like what's the best way to describe your style as a streamer?
Loud. Loud, fun. I like to look at my streaming style as growth as a player. But, I like to have fun. I would say super high energy fun, a little loud, a little obnoxious. And that's me. That's how I am. That's not something I'm going to apologize about. I have a lot of people who come in and, they leave, or they tell me they're going to leave. Hey, you're yelling at me. You know what? That's fine. So I'd say it's loud, fun, energetic. Also someone who has ADHD. I'm kind of all over the place, and I know that's not for everybody, and that's fine. So I do want to think that we have fun, high energy. And from that gaming standpoint, I'm never going to be that best gamer, but I like to think that through my streaming, it's been a progression of me in the game as well. And I eventually want to be someone that's really taken seriously in this game. I'm super competitive and I want to get there. So I'd like to think I bring that loud, fun aspect to this game and kind of bring out that competitive nature and that competitiveness to a point where people can really relate and resonate and learn along the way too.
Yeah, as somebody who really enjoys your streams, while you are loud, a lot of that things you mentioned do come through. Like, you want to be good. You're constantly pushing yourself to be better at the game, working with your community, people you are playing the game with to be better. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is like just observations from your stream, things that I think are really neat, and just like how you've developed to be able to do those. So one of the biggest things about your stream that for people who are fine with it being loud and who stick around is you have an amazing tendency to be able to call everybody out. In fact, most of the time no matter how busy your chat seems to be, you're able to, as long as you're not in the middle of like a veteran hard mode raid, call out people's like names and address them as they come in, as they say things in your chat, which I think is like, again, it made me feel very involved from the get-go. The first time I was clicking through ESO streamers and caught your stream, I was like, oh wow, this is cool, because you feel included. You make people feel included because they're not having to like subscribe, they don't have to like give subs or bits or anything like that necessarily to get called out. You're just going to call people out because they're in the chat. And I'm just curious, is that just something you've done from the beginning, or how did you develop the skill to be able to like consistently call people out, especially as you've grown? And sometimes you'll have days where you have 100 people in there and a lot of them are chatting, still be able to call everybody out.
Yeah, and it's not that I want to make you feel included. You are included. If you're spending time with me, time is the most valuable thing that you can give anybody. I don't ever take that for granted. And from the beginning, the reason why I started streaming was for relationships. I didn't have anybody to talk to. So genuinely, every single person who comes into my stream and who talks, I want to make sure they're heard, because I want to hear them, because I want to know what they have to say. And it's so funny because I'm seeing these people come through in your chat as we're having this conversation, and I just want to yell every single one of them out, just because I'm so happy they're here. I'm so happy they're here, and I'm so happy that they're able to see this conversation and, us getting to know each other better, talk about our communities. Everybody's important to me. So from the beginning, Mr. Guy in here was the first person that ever came in to chat and would talk to me. He's so important to me. I know he knows that, but I can't tell him that enough. Everybody, Kate, I see you. I just love everybody in here so much. And from a selfish standpoint, I don't know what I would do without streaming and without these people, because I think a lot of us start streaming or continue streaming because we're at a low point, right? Like, we need help. We need people to talk to. And I think that without these people, I would not have gotten through a lot of the things that, I was struggling with personally. So, everybody is really important to me. So I love to call people out. Like, it makes me so happy. And I like to, the more I yell at people, the more I can associate, like, okay, this person with this person that, and I can get to know them through that. Even though we are the visible ones, I want to know everybody on the other end of that too. So yeah, that's something I've done from the beginning, but yeah, genuinely important to me.
There's a couple of things I just kind of wanted to touch on in that amazing kind of description of calling people out in community. One of them is the thing time. That's another thing we really both connect on, is that time, whether it's a day one, like Mr. Guy for you, or Belnord TV for me, where there's a day one, or somebody that just came in with a raid and spent 10 minutes in the stream. The fact that, like, that's 10 minutes. That's a couple minutes of someone's life, even if I'm on a back tab that they're kind of listening to, that, like, we only have so much time in the world. So yeah, I agree with you with that. That's a super important and valuable thing to recognize. But have you given any thought to like how that might look as you continue to grow? Like, have given thought to like using Discord or how you're going to continue to make those same connections?
So this is a really big question. And this is something that I am currently very much struggling with. As much as I am a streamer, I'm also a content creator. I know you are as well. And, we have all these multiple platforms where you're getting multiple inbox messages from multiple people, and it becomes very overwhelming. I had a chat with a streamer who averages over 200 viewers, and I contacted her and I said, how do you do this? Because I genuinely want to give all of these people my time, but I'm working 16 hours a day and I'm struggling mentally, I'm struggling physically. How do you do it? And she said something to me that I had never thought about, which was, you have to set boundaries. Number one, you have to protect yourself and your mental health. And something that kind of was interesting to me, she said, I don't respond to direct messages. That's never how I want to be and how I want my community to be. For the most part, how I have it now is I respond to Discords. However, it takes me a while. I started a new job where I'm working 12 hours a day, and I'm really, really struggling to be able to respond to people and talk to people that I want to. I know moving forward, that's going to be more and more difficult. So I'm trying to really go to a place in my Discord where I can talk to everybody in the masses. And that's kind of the best way for me to communicate with people. But I still want to be able to have those conversations with people. I'm just not going to be able to have those as often as possible. Also, something really interesting that I don't think I'm interested in doing is this person had suggested, hey, you should hire someone to answer all your stuff. I would rather it be me and respond 3 weeks later than it be not me and who's responding, all the time. So there has to be that balance. And, from someone who I stream 7 days a week for 5 months, you have to, have that boundary for yourself and do your best. Do your best and do what you think is right. You're never going to make everybody happy, but it's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be a struggle because you're going to want to give all this time that you don't necessarily have.
It's really awesome to hear that you're considering, like, how do I continue to make those connections, make people feel heard, make people feel valued, knowing that as you get bigger, it's going to be impossible to necessarily respond to like every single message or DM and things like that.
Yep. And the way I see it is the people who are important to me and understand me will not get offended when I say, hey, this might take me a while to get back to you. If there are people who get offended by that or have a problem with that, they're probably not people that I want in my community anyway. There's this dude that comments on every single one of my TikTok videos, hey, she never responds. Like, he's responding to other people's comments and saying, hey, she never responds. As much as I wanted to kind of lash out and be like, hey, dude, do you know how much I have going on? Instead, I did the right thing, which was respond to everybody except for him. You're never going to make everybody happy, and you're never going to have all the time in the world. And those people who understand you and you value them are going to understand that. There are never going to be people who agree with everything that you do. But if they understand that, then, there's no problems. But yeah, for sure, it's almost like a weeding out point because people should understand. I am learning, but I make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. And you want to know what? There's a lot of streamers out there who are afraid to make mistakes. I am not, and I own them. It might be hard to watch sometimes, but there's only one way to learn.
And then kind of continuing with just like talking about your style or your stream, is like you have a very high level of energy. Probably one of the most energetic streamers I've had the pleasure of watching on Twitch. How do you manage to kind of maintain that energy? Because like as people, we have low days, we have days where we're exhausted, and it seems like even on days where you might be exhausted, you're still able to bring that level of energy. Like, how are you able to keep that kind of level of energy every time you're live, or at least keep a certain level of that energy there while you're live?
Yeah, I mean, we're all human, right? I for sure have good and bad days. I love coffee. Coffee helps. But I think there are people who know me who can watch my stream and say, okay, something was going on outside of this. Or you were a little tired today, or you were, something else was going on. So I'm high energy. This morning I ran 14 miles because it kind of centers me. I kind of have like energy issues. I don't know if that's the right word to say. So I am super high energy. And I try and control that as best as possible. It helps that now I have neighbors who yell at me if I'm too loud, but I am genuinely high energy. I think, if I look back to when I started streaming, I think I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't. I was trying to be quiet. I was trying to be a little more reserved. I was really worried that people weren't going to like me. And I decided, at some point, the real you is going to come out. You stream enough, the real you is going to come out. So I am naturally high energy. I fidget. I move all over the place. That is just me. That is just my personality. I just am super high energy. And there's no right or wrong, because I think people are crazy. There are some people who watch me before they go to sleep. They are nuts. That's not, I don't know how anybody does that. But again, like, this is my style. That's just how I am. I don't want to watch streamers like me. Like, I love watching relaxing, calming streams, It is just me and how I am. And when I had tried to be more reserved and quiet and more cautious and not make mistakes, it just was not a good stream. It just was not good. But for sure, I have more high energy days. I have lower energy days, but no matter what, that's me and who I am, for sure.
So continuing on, the next thing I did want to talk about, other content creation, because the best way to grow on Twitch is to develop a following on other content platforms and bring them to Twitch. I know you're working on other content, but I want to start with the one where you, I think, have put in the most effort to start with, which was TikTok. So the decision to start making TikToks, where did that come from?
So it took me a month and a half to reach affiliate status on Twitch. I remember being really frustrated and just thinking, like, how can I get people to find me? I hate social media. I actually don't have personal social media accounts. I don't like pictures of myself. I didn't really like doing skits. I didn't really like doing all of that stuff. But I said, okay, I'm already putting myself out there on Twitch. What can I do? So if you look up the number one tool to find and follow streamers, it's TikTok. I don't care if you love or hate TikTok. If you want to grow and you are not posting on TikTok, it's a mistake. And this is something that I'm really strong about. People have asked me how I've grown. TikTok. It put a lot of time and effort into my TikTok. At first, I started just doing videos saying, hey, my name's KJ Drizz, I'm going live, that sort of thing. But it's kind of developed into skits and funny stuff. And I think what I post on my TikToks are a lot of what's going on in my Twitch world, in my world. You can see through my TikToks when I'm having a bad day, I'm getting really negative gamer girl, messages online, or if I'm feeling really accomplished and I'm getting a lot of kills in Call of Duty. It's almost self-expression for me at this point. And because of that, people see your personality and say, hey, I want to follow this person. And, something really important for me to point out is I really didn't want to go on TikTok. I'm really super awkward and uncomfortable, and it's fine on stream. It's my stream. I can be awkward and uncomfortable. But when something lives on the internet like that, I was really, I really fought it. I really fought that idea. But over time, it kind of grew on me. When I was streaming full time and not working at all, I was actually posting 5 videos a day. Now I'm doing it to 2 videos a day. I think it's ridiculously important. I think it's so undervalued. I like to have fun with it now. Not every video I'm going to post is the best, but not only has it gotten me so much exposure, but I met 4 other small streamers when I just started streaming who I have been friends with to today, who have helped me through this process. And not only have I seen so much growth through that platform, I have seen them grow. And I have loved to see their progress through the platform. And there is a streamer who I talked to who started streaming 3 months ago. And he said, "Hey, I'm not getting any viewers on Twitch. I don't know what to do." I said, "TikTok." I said, "Do TikTok, find a niche and do it." He just applied for partner after 3 months. He had a few viral videos, which are incredible. And he's already averaging over 75 viewers. It's, again, not all about numbers. You can get follows from TikTok. I was getting 20 follows a day when I was not streaming from TikTok, just to tell you how powerful it is. Getting those people to watch me and stay with me, that's another story. You know, that's not very realistic. But from that exposure point of view, it's huge. It's massive. And it's so underrated. But the problem is people don't want to work. If you want to be a successful streamer and content creator, it is work. As much as it might be fun, it's work.
Because you're always on as a creative versus a 9-to-5 job, you work your hours. A salary job, you work your hours. Maybe you have to work some more because you're salary. But at the end of the day, like, you can leave your work usually at work. Content creation, like, you have to constantly be on even when you're not working. So like, it's often for people to work 55 to 80 hours in a week when it comes to content creation. I think TikTok is very well utilized by the people utilizing it, such as yourself. So I think it's a really great call out. That's why I wanted to call it out, because the 2 biggest platforms I've seen bring people over have been TikTok and YouTube. The TikToks can get people to your stream to check it out, and if the content is there, people are going to stick around more than any other side platform. I think TikTok and YouTube are really important. I think TikTok is more underutilized. That said, I'm just curious about your thoughts on like the best type of content to put on TikTok. I'm not somebody, I'm still learning TikTok, but I've talked to a lot of people. There's been people who have not grown a lot, so they think TikTok's not that great, but the content they put on, like, even though they have links to their stream, doesn't really relate back to the stream enough. So I don't see them grow. Whereas your content, like, you have headphones on, it relates to what you're doing. So I think it's important. And I don't know if you agree or disagree. I'm, again, not a TikTok creator at this point, making sure that your content does, like, it's different. It shows a different side of yourself, but still connects to what they're going to find if they click through.
But so what? Those people did TikToks for a month and gave up. I mean, nothing's going to come easy. You know, you're not going to post a video that you think's great and get 50 new followers. It is work. But not only that, is the way I see it is you have one opportunity where someone might scroll on your video and they can either say, "Hey, I want to click and watch this person," or they just keep scrolling. So for me, I used to make videos that say, "Hey, everybody, my name's KJ Drizz. If you want a cool community, come follow me." If I saw that on TikTok, I wouldn't really care. But if there's somebody who's posting a really funny dad joke and I think they're awesome, and then I see their streamer, I'm like, yeah, I really want to follow that. And that's how I like to think about it, is if I saw this video, would it make me want to follow that person or not? I'm just not going to follow someone who's promoting themselves for the most part, unless they do something really unique. Probably not going to do that. The most important thing is do something fun and true to you. Like, I just like to find sounds and do stuff to that. But really, I think people who don't know what to do just need to find niche content. I have a friend who started out on TikTok and he started making fun of other streamers, like people who had good senses of humor. So he did a few TikToks of me with a fake tambourine and, was crying with tears. And I thought it was hysterical. He did not get 50 followers in one day, so he got discouraged and decided to not continue. If he had continued that niche, you can see how that grows over time. People want everything to be easy. Yeah, I would love for it to be easy. I would have loved to have just gotten, that 50 followers on Twitch, in my first day, in my first week, like a lot of people did. That took me 1.5 months, and I worked for that 1.5 months. It is the same thing with TikTok. You have to be consistent. I think with everything, no matter what it is, consistency is key. I am not consistent on any social media platform other than TikTok. I work a lot during the week now. Every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday, I make 7 TikTok videos each day to post throughout the week. This is work. But it's content and it's fun, and hopefully it makes people want to click on me. And I just think it's super important. Just have fun with it, but just think, hey, would I want to follow this person on Twitch based off of what I saw?
It is hard work to find your niche or find what is working, and you have to be consistent, like streaming to 3 people for a while until you find what works and start to grow, or posting TikToks that may not get a lot of views until it starts to grow. And like you said, being consistent. And that is something people don't think about, is content creation at the end of the day is work. If you're just there, just kind of like stream whenever or make things whenever, that's fine. But if you're looking to grow, it is, yeah, like you said, it's work. You're on your days off, you're streaming, you're also making TikToks for the week, you're being consistent. You're also considering other platforms to possibly grow on. And so, yeah, I think it's really important to always call out just how much work goes into these things.
If you watch my TikToks, you kind of know what I'm going through. I think like, it can be a really positive outlet, but based off of the videos I post, you can understand a lot, kind of what's going on with someone. And so that's what I do like about TikTok. And I know there's a lot of people in here who can relate that, you post things that are true to you at the moment. And that's something that's really nice about it.
Kind of switching gears here, circling around topics and coming back to them. I do want to kind of come back to Elder Scrolls Online a little bit, mainly because that's like game you were originally playing. That's your main game. That's still my main game. So I'm kind of curious, like you've mentioned it already earlier, really just kind of looking for people to connect with and play with, but why Elder Scrolls as one of your main games, primary games? Why still Elder Scrolls?
I started playing Oblivion, Skyrim, and when you play those games, Elder Scrolls Online is like the next one that you're going to play. I had been playing that on Xbox, so I was just playing that with a bunch of my friends, which is why I decided to start streaming that, I guess. I had tried to stream other games where I didn't find the community welcoming and positive. I decided to stick with Elder Scrolls, and the more I stuck with it, I've never played a game where other players come and find me and say, hey, let me help you. Hey, let me show you this. Let me help you become a better player. Are you kidding me? How can you not love that community? I am someone who plays a game and sticks with it, but if it weren't for the incredible community and people I've met, and this is a game where you can get lost for years of your life, I probably wouldn't have stuck with this game. But I love this game with all of my heart. I'm genuinely obsessed and addicted, and I owe it to a lot of the people that I get to play with every single day, that make me love it even more.
But just kind of looking at the future, do you view yourself as just remaining primarily like an Elder Scrolls streamer, or trying to eventually find more games to move into in your content, kind of like vary your content, or like stay really focused on Elder Scrolls?
Well, so I always thought Elder Scrolls to be my main game, but I've always been a gamer. I really was waiting for Fable, Halo Infinite to come out, 2 games that I'm like super stoked about. Again, I'm always going to love Elder Scrolls, but I'm not going to not play something because I know people aren't going to watch me. That's going to happen. Like you're always going, if you play a specific game all the time, you're going to have viewers that only watch you because of that. I am not afraid to play a different game and stream a different game that I want to and lose viewers. That's just how it's going to go. So moving forward, I mean, those are games that I'm super stoked about, especially Fable. I think Fable 2 is up there with one of my favorite games. So I do see myself obviously streaming other things, but each time I had tried going to another game, it makes me appreciate Elder Scrolls even more. And that's actually what I like the most about going to some other different games and playing something for a while, is then saying, hey, let me go back to this. So for sure, Elder Scrolls main game, but I do love experimenting, trying new games, having a little fun, and breaking up the monotony. If someone just wants to watch me play Elder Scrolls, I totally understand that. You know, I totally get that. There are some, especially larger streamers, that I only watch that specific game that they play. So I understand. I understand it from a viewer standpoint. And again, that's just how it is. It's more a matter of like, are you okay with that? You know, if you do other streams outside of your norm, it's going to probably have lower numbers. But you know, it's kind of like, so what?
So the other thing I just kind of wanted to bring up as far as games go is, you mentioned games. You've already mentioned this a little bit, but just kind of talk about it a little bit more, like games for you versus games for stream. I found very quickly, like there are games that are for me. They're either for me because they don't make for good content for my style of content. So do you have games like that, games that are just for you, or games that like don't work for stream? I know we already mentioned Call of Duty, but curious if there's other games.
Really, it's Call of Duty. I just because I play so much Elder Scrolls, Call of Duty is the only other game really that I play, and I really enjoy it. I think at its height, I had to ban 8 people on stream from coming in from that Call of Duty community and saying really negative things. So I decided to not stream that because it was bleeding into my community, and I still do play it off stream. For sure, not as much as I would like to. But yeah, that's really my big one. I am genuinely quite obsessed with Elder Scrolls. I really play a lot of Elder Scrolls, but Call of Duty just didn't work as far as streaming for me. And I play some other games like offline, really old stuff, Command and Conquer, Myst, Riven, Abduction, escape room type games off stream. But really, I play Elder Scrolls probably the most off stream. But you know, I also do stream it.
The next thing I kind of wanted to talk about is working and streaming. How are you finding managing content creation, not just streaming, but you know, TikTok and all these things? Because you, like I said, you put out like 2 videos a day on TikTok. You also still stream. How are you finding it managing working a full-time job and also streaming?
Oh, it's rough. It's really rough. Especially if you don't work a job that's shift work, where you have a definitive clock in and clock out time. And actually, I went from streaming 6 days a week for the first 2 weeks of my job, and I had to cut it down to 3. No matter what I emotionally wanted to do, I had to shift my time to my job because that is the most important thing that I have. So given that, I chose Sunday through Tuesday to be my days to stream. And I did it from like a pure, this is what's best for me perspective. I was also doing Saturdays. I decided I wanted a day for myself. It's really difficult. Last week, I streamed from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock, and then I had to work until 1 a.m. and then wake up again at 4 a.m. This is just the sacrifices that you have to do if you want to work and also stream. So it's all about adjusting. It's all about being open. It's all about being realistic. And no matter what, I decided that through this transition, through this process, through everything, that I had to protect myself and my mental health the most. But my job has to be my priority. I still want to be a streamer. I still want to put all of my effort that I can into that. But you also have to be realistic about it as well.
And kind of switching gears just a little bit, but still kind of looking towards the future. So obviously during COVID, the ability to do things, go out, get food, all of these things have been obviously restricted because of the nature of that pandemic. And I know for myself, I really want to do some more like IRL stuff, travel stuff with my stream. I know some people just want to stick with the games and stuff they do. Do you have any plans like post-COVID when it comes to streaming that you've thought about, things that you would like to do once the world is kind of opened up again? Or do you plan to kind of like stick with Elder Scrolls and games?
I want to stick with Elder Scrolls, but one thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, and just logistically, I don't know how it's realistic for me, but I have my Elder Scrolls cookbook. I want to do not only an Elder Scrolls cooking stream, but a food science stream.
Ooh.
And that's something that I've really been wanting to do. Logistically, I don't know how realistic that is for me. And I've been trying to figure that out. And really, that's from a financial standpoint. That's not like the easiest thing for me to figure out right now. But I don't have any I know a bunch of people who wanted to travel and stream, which I think is amazing. I want to mix my two worlds. 3, streaming, Elder Scrolls, food science. And that's something that I would love to incorporate into my stream and do every once in a while, and maybe teach some people some things that aren't Elder Scrolls related, but something that, might stick with them for a while.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome. Also, it's something that you uniquely could bring. The last thing I really wanted to bring up was recently, Mandatory put out an article called The 10 Most Titillating Twitch Channels to Fill Your Lockdown Binging Void. This was back on January 27th. And they went through a bunch of channels. And the third one listed is actually yourself. Did they contact you ahead of time? Did you talk to them? How much did you know about it before it came out? Kind of the impact it had, having that really cool article where they shouted you out with a number of other amazing, unique streamers.
So kind of funny. I hadn't checked my Twitch or my Twitter for a few days, and I'm not super great with Twitter. And one day I went on there and I had all these notifications and I had no idea what they were about. And I opened this article that someone tagged me in, and I was like, why did someone tag me this? And I scrolled down and I saw myself and I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I was so excited and honestly so happy that, they included me in a picture of my walrus outfit. It's just such an honor when you get recognized, and that, whether that be from someone tweeting out, hey, I like your stream, or, this article. I just thought it was the coolest, most incredible thing in the whole world. Unfortunately, I don't have people that I know in my real life that I could share that with and be happy for me. But, I was so proud, and I could, repost it and send it to specific people in my community, and people see it and be happy for me. And I just thought it was so cool. And I honestly just thought it was such an honor. And I was so shocked. I actually didn't know about it at all.
Having somebody watch your stream, be excited about it, and write things, I think that's a really cool form of validation to get. Thank you, KJ. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You can check out KJ Drizz on TikTok. It's at KJ Drizz. You can check out KJ on Twitch at twitch.tv/KJ_. Drizz, is there any other places you want people to be able to find you, or people can find you, KJ?
No.
Okay.
No.
Please, also, if you could share again, what's your current streaming schedule?
So I stream Sunday 1 to 4 p.m. Pacific, and Monday and Tuesday 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific.
So yeah, if you want a very high energy stream, yelling, name getting called out, lots of fun, lots of excitement, something that's going to take your energy from 0 to 60 in less than a second, please check out KJ on those days. Thank you once again, KJ.
Thank you so much. This is really incredible. And again, I look forward to watching these with you and other streamers. I think, all of this is just so important. So really, thank you.
All right. So that was our first Tavern Talks podcast. Thank you so much for being there. We will be having more of these coming up. In the future. There's been a number of people who've expressed interest, from Juicebox Hero to Reishi, other people I have them set up with, such as Lady Wolf and Sakar. Appreciate you spending your time with me. I love you, and thanks for spending the time.